Yeah, dude, that was the closest thing to a bump that he's taken so far in this match. Was just swallowing the key.
With War Games on the horizon, we wanted to take a look back at the first War Games in NXT, which was really the first War Games in WWE history. Along with that was the union of your gracious hosts, myself, and Teddy Mongoose. We met for the inaugural Fellowship of Brodom to watch this match, and it was such a good day in 2017. And I'm excited, Mongoose. I cannot wait to talk about how did you feel about rewatching this match?
What a special day it was whenever we joined our houses. We brought all the men from South Central PA in to do the thing. Enjoyed friendship, laughter, and table spots, all of that. But dude, the most important thing was it happened because it was the resurrection of one of the most storied gimmick matches of all time, and hitting it on the rewatch, man, it holds up.
Like, it even starts with the opening package of this show. It was excellent.
Yes. It starts with the old like wartime black and white video with FDR. We flash to Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish attacking Sanity. We then have Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, and Fish getting attacked by Roderick Strong. Commissioner Regal's voice is projected over the three teams that are beating each other down in the ring. It will be Sanity versus the Undisputed Era versus the team of the Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong in 2 rings, in 1 cage, in War Games.
We got Morrow, Nigel, and Percy Watson on the call.
That was the biggest surprise of the entire night to me, was the fact that we had Percy Watson there in the booth. So we cut to the match, and we had the war siren sounding as the cage is lowering on top of the 2 rings. Morrow reminds us that it was the brainchild of the late, great Dusty Rhodes, and Nigel says, we're all just moments away from the most dangerous match in sports entertainment being born again. Morrow then tells us, 9 superstars will enter the ring, and 9 souls will be stolen by the callous steel.
Dude, this pre-match video package, it is so good. Everything they were doing in NXT right now was literally firing on all cylinders. But we have Undisputed Era giving Roderick the armband, and then Roddy turning on Cole was great. The Undisputed Era, dude, they were so awesome.
Yeah, they were the peak of their powers here for sure.
Yeah, and the package closes with Morrow saying, Houston, we have a War Games. Dude, mongoose bumps for me, brother.
Oh, yeah, big moment. We then go to Dustin and Arn being in the crowd. We get the welcome. We get the rules. So we have 3 teams inside separate shark cages with 1 person from each team starting the match. After 5 minutes, the remaining 2 members from 1 team will be entered. After 3 minutes, the remaining members from the second team enter. And after 1 more period, the final team's members are released. There can only be victory via pinfall or submission. And this can only happen once all 3 teams have entered. And if you escape the cage, you forfeit the match for your team. The crazy thing is with this, John, I remembered watching this. I remembered loving this, and I had no idea this was a 3-way between trios.
You and me both. You and me both, because I totally forgot about this. I could not remember that it was a 3-way.
Right, but the rules were wonky, but being the premise of the match and the participants that we had, it did all make sense.
It did. It really did. And Sanity are the first to be introduced, and Eric Young is going to lead them off in the cage. Shock, the system hits. The Undisputed Era's aura was like next level. And it's just like literally really strange to see them without the boom. It was weird.
Right. I mean, and the cool thing is that they still came out as total cool heel, which is what they were brought in as. Cole's giving Sanity the Scott Hall fingers, and I love that. Kyle O'Reilly and Fish go into the cage. Cole makes his way down to the ring, and once he gets in, Eric Young's barking at Adam Cole from the opposite ring, and What language do you think Eric Young speaks? Because I got motor oil. I got Eric Young was barking at him in motor oil.
He literally, it has to be that.
Babbling.
It was literally like 40 weight from like Fast and the Furious. So we get another heavy guitar riff, and decked out in matching fatigues, we get Roddy and AOP. And Roddy, Cole, and Young are officially the first three to start this match.
And this was absolutely the right call because you have the best workers from each team and the most charismatic of a team of great workers for the third. And for them to carry the first 5 minutes of this was brilliant.
And aesthetically, I really liked the black canvas. And also, I really like the idea of having the entire team being released from the cage instead of like each member. Like I know, like in Survivor Series and the Bloodline one that they did each individual member. But I like that they did the entire team at once. It felt really nice, and like it just made so much sense in this triple threat war.
Right. Well, if you think about it, the whole 5-on-5 premise from where it was born, you should have one at a time, but we have 3 teams in here and we have 3 trios teams, not 3 5-on-5. And if we're doing this as sort of a quasi experiment, it makes sense to not make that long waiting period for the match to officially get underway.
Right. That too. The other thing I want to mention before we get started in like the actual match is whenever they're getting in the cages, you can tell, like, because of the way that the set was, they're setting on all LED boards, and like that metal on LED board wanted to shift around, and like you could tell like they wanted to shake those cages around, and like they went to shake them and they started to move, like just slide all over the place, and then they just quit touching them.
Right. Yeah, get away. So just mean mug it. Give it this.
Yes. I noticed that right away.
So we start with Adam Cole backing off. He's pursued right away by Young and Strong. They start to lay the boots to Cole, and then they quickly turn on each other. So every man gets a few shots in. We tease a few cage shots. Strong hits a backbreaker on Young, and then he and Cole start teeing off on each other.
And Cole goes for a drop kick. Roddy grabs him, catapults him into the cage, but Cole stops short. Cole teases an escape, and he's cut off by the other two. So Strong and Young go up to the top. Cole slides out and crotches them both.
Yeah, he then throws Roddy out of the first ring. Roddy's arm hits the metal bridge, and he's selling it in the other ring. And the way he was selling it, dude, I thought he shattered his elbow just seconds into the match. So then Cole hits the old vintage brain buster onto the knee onto Eric Young, and he gets some shots in on Roddy then.
So Cole is in total control now, taking turns getting offense on Roddy and Young. Each of them eats a standard neck breaker, and Roddy finally cuts off Cole, and he starts to get a little comeback. He starts throwing chops and knees, and he chops running buckle to buckle as the crowd counts down, and the Undisputed Era are the first team to come down to the ring for the advantage, and the Undisputed Era, it just starts running roughshod.
And this is perfect psychology. This is the way that it should be. The heels should be down there first. And Morrow calls them hyenas. And as he was saying it, I was typing, they're like a pack of hyenas right now. So Morrow nailed it, dude. Yeah. We got Eric Young getting placed between the rope and the cage. He eats a shot from each man in the Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are now working over Roddy. And Cole gives our first face rake to the steel.
I love a face rake to the steel.
Love it, man. Especially because they teased it for the whole first 5 minutes. Right. And then the bad guys came in and we finally got there.
But that wheelbarrow suplex was really nice. And then Roddy just planted into the cell with each member of the Undisputed Era hitting him, just like they were doing it to Young. It was really, really good.
Yes. They make their way over to Strong. Strong's between the ropes and the cage, just as Eric Young was a few minutes ago. Undisputed Era gets a shot onto Roddy into the steel, and they are in total control. And the timing of this was perfect because the crowd is now doing the 10-second count.
About the only bad thing that I could think of in this match was just like there is just a smidge, and I mean a smidge of a botch on the reveal for the next team as AOP is on their way down.
Fish O'Reilly, whenever they do come down, are trying to keep the cage closed, and I love that, man. I loved it. So Kyle O'Reilly eats a door shot to the noggin. AOP comes in and they're absolutely running wild. Again, they're nailing it with psychology, the way that this match should be laid out here. And dude, AOP is just throwing blokes into anything that looks or sounds like steel, and it's excellent.
This was really nice because I forgot about how awesome the Authors of Pain were in NXT. Like, they were awesome. And I don't know.
They were.
I don't know what happened to them on the main roster. They just got ate up and chewed up and spit out. But Cole, Young, and Roddy get yeeted into the second ring, which I thought was so good. AOP, they just looked like killers out here.
Yeah, that crash spot where they threw Roddy into Eric Young and Undisputed Era all at the same time was awesome. Eric Young gets caught in the tree of woe. Kyle O'Reilly gets put into one as well. And Occam and Razor hit the double fireman's carry into the suspended flesh that is there, taking out all four men. The crowd's counting down for Sanity to hit the ring as this is all happening. AOP still launching dudes around into the ring. And I do need to say that their Occam and Razor, which makes sense, the little play on words there. But every time I see them, I think of Toka and Razor from Ninja Turtles 2. I don't know if you're familiar, but that would be the wolf and the snapping turtle. And if I could repackage them, I would have put one of them in a wolf suit and one of them in a turtle suit because, dude, they're the Bashams.
Yes.
I can't tell who's who.
That is true.
That's my only problem is I have AOP guy 1 and AOP guy 2.
You know what? That couldn't be spoke. You literally nailed that on the head there because they literally are the Bashams. You cannot tell them apart.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Really is. Yeah. So Sanity enters the fold and War Games is official. And Alexander Wolf pulls out a baton.
And I'm getting flashbacks here from if you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like, or actually, not even as. Like, I just think of the boss man whipping that thing around, and I just can't shake this fella.
That's a great point that you made. Please go back and check out the Kennel from Hell match. That was our first video that we launched here on the channel. We cover Al Snow and the boss man, so go check that out on the channel. And Killian Dane is just launching gimmicks into the ring before he even entered, and just Sanity is running wild now.
It's trash cans, chairs, kendo sticks, chains. Like, this went from body slams and, you know, the tossing people, hip tosses or whatever, to just a sea of weapons in seconds. And all this is going on. Crowd's chanting for tables. You have 8 men killing each other in the ring. And Killian Dane is just walking around the outside, just bringing in gimmicks. Like, give me his job here, dude. He's getting the biggest reaction of anybody, and he's taking no pain or punishment right now.
No, but he got a killer pop for the tables when he finally pulled them out. He was reeling them in, and he gave them what they wanted.
Yeah, for sure, man. So we go back to the action. Kyle O'Reilly goes to hit Alexander Wolf with a chair. Wolf ducks, and Kyle O'Reilly hits the rebound shot in the head off of the rope. Love the spot. Always have, always will. Bobby Fish gets slammed into a trash can. This trash can gets absolutely launched onto Roddy, and Killian Dane is just chilling, slowly locking the door. He's the smartest guy in the room right now.
So Undisputed Era is getting outsmarted with all of the gimmicks, which was great. And it literally wasn't as great as Killian Dane locking away and swallowing the key.
Yeah, dude, that was the closest thing to a bump that he's taken so far in this match. Was just swallowing the key. So he throws a few shots and he goes in pursuit of AOP. He stacks up AOP in the corner, hits the double corner splash, and then he hits the drop kick senton spot. It looked so brutal. It squished the head of whichever AOP man was unfortunate enough to be on the ground for that one. But man, that was a great spot.
Yeah, and in all of this chaos, O'Reilly flare flopped getting into the ring. He gets back in the ring, just flare flops. It was a chef's kiss. That was so good.
He's so good at understated things like that. He really is.
Yeah, he really is. So Dane, and he goes from the top rope with a diving crossbody to wipe out the entire crowd. The pin attempt gets broken up.
Yeah, Cole goes to hit Dane with a kendo stick. Dane cuts him off. And as he has Cole up in a choke, he gets cut off by Bobby Fish. He then gives a Michinoku driver onto Cole, onto Fish, after Fish tried to sunset flip him. Wow.
Yeah. Killian Dane looked like a killer in this match. I don't even remember him, but he looked so good.
And this literally was the feature Killian Dane match. It absolutely was. And this was awesome. I said in this match, he was Killian Kane because he came in as such a murderer. But we also need to note, dude, the crowd for these near falls doing the 1, 2, sweet in the background is so great, man.
Oh,
excellent time capsule here.
Oh, absolutely. So we get Dane gets Kyle O'Reilly up, grabs Roddy in the slam position, and he gives the combo fall away slam Samoan drop. And like Morrow's call for this, like it's just it was perfect. Like they are hitting on all cylinders.
Right. And at this point, my only question is Preston White or whatever his name is he even here? Is he present? So Killian Dane and one of the AOP dudes are trading shots. Dane lays him out. AOP man B then power slams Dane. It's broken up by Kyle O'Reilly with a chain.
And then Kyle O'Reilly hits a tornado DDT. Cole then hits an enziguri, and Roddy eats a super kick to each ear from the Undisputed Era while Kyle O'Reilly gives a brainbuster.
Yeah, excellent spot. Dane's now getting to his feet, and he just clotheslines Cole's head off.
Dude, Cole absolutely got turned inside out.
Yeah, it was excellent, man. And so Dane now goes for the double lariat to Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. He misses and eats front and back kicks from both for his trouble. Alexander Wolf then comes and takes out Bobby Fish. Kyle O'Reilly smashes Wolf with a forearm. Kyle O'Reilly is then wobbling to his feet, and he's holding a chain, and he's the only man standing. So Kyle O'Reilly goes and wraps the chain around Alexander Wolf's mouth and then around his arm. Wolf is now the brightest shade of pink you've ever seen.
There was a little bit of a sloppy mess with the chain, but the spot ended great with an elbow drop by Young into KOR. Did not see that coming. And the way that they shot it just like so low, and you just see Young fly in at the last second. NXT was different in the beginning. Like it was different.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is great stuff. And once Young hits that elbow, Bobby Fish goes up to the top and he moonsaults onto Young. Everyone's down. And Preston White has just said words. So he is okay, everybody. I don't even know what the words were, but he said some.
So the crowd starts chanting for tables, and now everyone is starting to get up. AOP grabs O'Reilly and Cole, and then they hit a super collider onto Killian Dane. They go for the pin, but it's broken up by Eric Young.
Yeah, Dane's now busted open from the diamond plate between the two rings. AOP goes to set up Eric Young for a doomsday device. Young escapes, grabs AOP man A, hits a DVD onto AOP man B, and he goes for the cover, but it's broken up at 2 by Roddy and Adam Cole.
Dude, that Death Valley driver looked good, but Brother's legs were shaking like a salt shaker.
A lot of meat up there. So Roddy and Cole are now trading blows, and Roddy's starting to get his shine. Neck breakers, back breakers, suplexes, knees. He then hits the ankle slam onto Killian Dane. He's running wild.
So Cole breaks up the pin attempt with a super kick to Roddy's head.
And Eric Young rolls over, literally on top of Alexander Wolf to the opposite ring. Cole then climbs to the top, and from that opposite ring is cut off by Eric Young. Roddy then gets to the top, and he and Eric Young are trading shots onto Cole and onto each other.
And then we get all of Sanity, Fish, O'Reilly take the Towers of Doom, and Cole is just sitting on the top rope. What a visual. Oh my God, this was so perfect. Him just sitting there. Oh,
yeah, it really was, man. Chaos all around him. And then there he is. Like, I thought that this was, as much as this was the Killian Dane match, those little spots and things really, really highlighted Adam Cole really well. So he realizes that AOP are mean men, and he just tries to flee. He says, you know what? Don't need any of this. I'll get out of here. And he gets caught, crotched, and now AOP are going for tables. And dude, they are struggling with these tables. They finally get him to the other ring. It felt like it took forever that they couldn't figure out how to fit rectangles through spaces. And they have both set up. Everyone's down. Cole is still in the top rope. He's facing away. AOP now climb to each side of the post, but they get cut off by Alexander Wolf. Cole hits a boot, does a little rope walk, and now he climbs up to the tippity top of the cage.
And Alexander Wolf then climbs to the top, hits a German onto one of the AOP, and we got a Mamma Mia from Morrow. Man, I can't, like, hearing him say that just reminds me of like how good and how much I miss Morrow in NXT.
That dude was all time. He was great at putting stuff over. He was NXT's Gus Johnson. And I miss him. I miss him a lot, man, because he really, really could put over spots in a way that few people in the business can. So we go off the other post. Eric Young takes out the other AOP fellow with the neck breaker from the top. Cole is now literally climbing across the top of the cage like Wile E. Coyote would on a tightrope across the canyon. You know what I'm saying? Like that, just little bits.
That was popping me because it took like years for him to get to one end to the other. And then Dana's just now up and explodes O'Reilly with a lariat. Cole is now just laying prone across the top of the cage. Dane grabs a garbage can, shoves it into O'Reilly in the corner, climbs to the top rope, tells Cole to watch, and then he hits a coast to coast like he's Shane O'Mac. This was so good.
The fact that he told Cole to watch before he did it was an awesome little layer there. That was good stuff, man. And so everybody's down again. Cole is at the top of the cage. He's up to his feet. The crowd starts to cheer. And while he's up there, why wouldn't you, right? You get the Adam Cole, baby, from the crowd. It was awesome.
Yeah. So now Roddy is now in hot pursuit of Cole up to the top. Cole tries to flee, but Roddy catches him. Both men are now at the top of the cage. Roddy goes for a suplex, and thank God 7 other men were down there to catch him. All of the men are laid out with the ring with the superplex.
Yeah, dude, when they actually launched, because I didn't think there was any way they were going off the top. When they actually launched, I thought that Cole was going to explode into dust. And thankfully, there was, a literal ton of man meat down there to help soften that blow. Yeah. And then somehow after that, we get a kick out.
Yeah. I couldn't believe we got a kick out after that.
I just don't understand why we didn't just let everybody lay, but we got the cover, we got a kick out. And at that time, dude, the referee is so orange, I almost thought that I had to adjust my television. I was just taken aback at the color contrast between him and every other man in the ring.
He had a Hogan tan. So we get the Haas fight in the middle of the ring between Dane and AOP. AOP comes from the top to hit Dane with a lariat.
And this fella gets caught in a sleeper by Kyle O'Reilly. Bobby Fish just starts raining in strikes. Eric Young throws Fish into the corner. He and Wolf hit a combo neck breaker on Kyle O'Reilly. Wolf is now bleeding everywhere out of the back of the side of his head or something like that. And he just eats a suplex from Roddy.
So Roddy and Cole now exchange blows in the middle where everyone is down. Cole gets thrown into the cage. Young then grabs Roddy, gives him the deadlift German into the cage. Cole hits Eric with the kendo stick, and man, that thing cracked like lightning when it hit.
Yeah, that was big time.
So Cole is now measuring up for the knee. Eric Young goes to pull up a chair to maybe block it, but he eats the chair boom to the skull. Adam Cole covers him and wins.
Awesome.
Dude,
this was awesome.
It was.
So what say you? What would be your rating here?
Dude, I want to give it 2 thumbs and 2 toes up.
This was, to me, this is 2 thumbs. Watch it if you haven't seen it. Watch it if you've seen it. It's been a while. It's a long match. I mean, it's 45 or so minutes from entrance to finish. But my God, is it worth every second of your time? Build was great. Psychology was perfect. Teams were awesome, especially if you're familiar with NXT at that time, to know where these guys were, specifically Sanity and AOP. You take your current day main roster blinders off. These guys were stars, and this was excellent.
And we got everything on the show that like you don't get in the main event of a WWE show in 2017. You don't get blood. You don't get all of these gimmicks. You don't get German suplexes off the top of the cage. Like you just don't get that. And that's sorely what the product was missing. And they gave everything to us in that show.
Absolutely, man. Watch it.
Yes. Watch it. Or War Games coming at you next week, because we have the other half of our night of the Fellowship of Brodom. We have Fall Brawl 98. That was the War Games with just the most ridiculous amount of pyro you could possibly ever imagine for Kevin Nash. I can't wait to relive that. We got Hollywood Hogan. We have the Warrior. He's out there with all of this gimmicky stuff, getting in and out of the ring. That was wild.
Warrior magic.
Oh, so much Warrior magic. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. It's the best way to support the channel, because when you subscribe, we will give you more content, and we have more content coming for you. We are going to be working on something really special with the Bloodline. So if that is something that you're interested in, be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way, you know when we drop our videos. I'm Johnny Bake Show.
I'm Teddy Mongoose.
And we just called it in the ring.